All right, hello everyone. Here's the next blue hotspot that is in a long line of different places in the world where blue is coming through and really communicating a lot to us about the significance of these different areas and what they are all adding and contributing to along the way. I keep calling them the kind of the Syrian star people, breadcrumbs, and there's definitely blue light that's illuminating everywhere, but they're very significant about what is significant is they are kind of following this chain along the way of teaching us. And I have to tell you, as I'm kind of going through this, it feels almost like it's just different levels of expression of Mother Earth and in many ways, and all the ways that Mother Earth is expressing. And even though we're very aware of different things that are happening in the world that may not feel as if we're honoring Mother Earth in all the ways that she should be honored, like wars and taking advantage of nature and not respecting nature. Underneath it all, there's still a powerful force that's coming through to help uplift humanity, right? It's like sometimes it feels almost like non-deserving. It's almost like, being the child that throws the fits and is causing trouble and throwing things across the room, and yet they still get to climb up in their mother's arms and be rocked to sleep. So anyway, that was just my sense. So I wore this strong orange color. I'm wearing these beautiful beads that were gifted to me from grandfather, who is a dear friend and medicine man. And it has a little, I'll just show you, has a little bear on it, because as he always asks me, granddaughter, are you feeding your bear? Is how he describes it. Are you feeding your bear? So it just makes, what that means is, am I spending time with this animal spirits? All right, which is really going to tie into what's coming in. So I'm talking about Australia today. So Australia's coming through, but this is what kind of threw me a little bit, is that it's the entire country of Australia, but it even goes further than that, because it goes out into the water. It's almost like there's this blue line or aura around the whole entire country. But this is the other part that kind of threw me for a loop as well. And in that other part is that there's multiple points throughout the entire country. Now, it looks like the main point is at the center of the country near Alice Springs. I will, let's say, let me get this right. I took a picture on my map. So it seems like there's these points all around the coast. Now, I just put a few points down, like in the Northwest Cape, and then Cape, I have a sticker on it. So is it Cape York? Cape York. It would be near the Gulf of Carpentaria, or the Wellesley Islands, the Great Barrier Reef. So that's another point. There's a point around the Great Artesian Basin. There's a point around Melbourne. And there's more points than that. But there's the central one in Alice Springs, and then there seems to be many points around the country on the outside. So it's very blue, and it has an ancient blue to it, but it's a nature blue. And so the ultimate is nature is awakening here to its own divinity. Now, my name is Nancy Rebecca, and this is my YouTube channel. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, I have a lot to share. So I really encourage you to visit my website to read more about me. But I am a clairvoyant psychic as a nurse working with the human energy field, but the energy field of the earth, the energy field of nature, the energy field of human nature, the energy field of the stars. So whatever has an energy field, that's what I'm going to be talking about. So we're talking about Australia. So this is what I wrote. All of Australia is pulsing. All of Australia is pulsing. There is a sound across, like there's a lot of sound, there's a lot of songs. It does almost look like, I would say, a grid of pathways, like you would have longitude and latitude, but they don't always fit. It's not black and white like that. It's not like a 2D structure. Is that these sound lines can follow in different directions. And so what Spirit was showing me was like birds that know when to fly south for the winter, or birds that know when to fly north for the summer. Or maybe the track lines, the trail lines for animals. It's like, how do they know which trail to follow? How do the birds know which trail to follow? How do the trees know which pathway to grow in? How do the trees know the patterns to grow in? So there's a lot about nature and the unseen energetic wave lines. And I'm shown that they're like this, these wave lines. Now, I'm imagining that we experience these wave lines all over the world, but for some reason in Australia, they seem to be particularly strong. Again, there's the songs or the pathway or the sounds that, again, are like a grid, but they don't have to follow these sharp edges. All right. The main core place seems to be coming from the center of, like around Alice Springs. I know that, is it Ayers Rock that's there in the center? So in that area, that seems to be a very deep, deep area. Like that would be, again, another type of portal, more of a multi-dimensional portal. But this is what's interesting, because I've seen a lot having to do with the stars, and I've seen a lot with the earth, and then going out to the stars and under the water and things like that. But it's more like a deepening of humanity. So it's like it's a pulsation that drives us to go deeper within ourselves, deeper within connecting with the heart and the soul of who we are, connecting with that incredibly deep love and that deep compassion for everything. And so that's the only way I can describe it. So if anybody has an idea of what I'm talking about for this area, I would love to hear about it in the comments section. I'm also told that Australia has many anchor points. Anchor points, so I've already kind of described that to you, what I was noticing. It is a beacon where there's a communication with the stars, there's communication with all of nature, there's communication with animals, there's also communication with a galaxy that seems far, far, far away. There's a strong connection to a certain point. And for a moment there, I wondered if it was like the Pleiadians or if it was like the planet Sirian. So I went and looked it up, and to see if there is this connection amongst the indigenous aboriginals. And what came to the surface was the Milky Way, that there's a point in the Milky Way where they have a very strong connection. So, yeah, that's a lot. So now, after I got all those points that I've covered for the intuitive archaeologist that you are, there was a very I'm just going to say it's the energy. We talk about the gods and the goddesses, but this is like the grandmothers. There's a lot of grandmother energy here. There's a lot of grandfather energy. So it's just like the ancient, the grandmothers and the grandfathers. But I can hear these songs, and it's as if the songs are getting louder to, this is what I hear. It's time to wake up. It's time. It's safe to wake up again. It's safe to wake up to your divinity. But you would think that that would be humans they're talking to, and it's not. They're talking to the trees, and they're talking to the animals, and they're talking to the soil, and they're talking to the insects and birds and fish and the waters. It's like they're telling, almost like the underworld and nature. It's time to wake up now. It's safe to wake up now. And that's the message that's going out through the whole world. So what Spirit kind of tells me in this funny way is like, so imagine, Nancy, you have your chocolate lab that's just about a year old. You just love her to death, and you think of her as a dog, and then but she already contains within her so much more intelligence than you will ever be able to imagine. And then suddenly I'm able as a human to wake up to her divinity. I'm able to wake up to her consciousness. And then she looks at me like, finally, you recognize me. So they're saying that to really start watching our own nature around where we live, really start watching our interactions with our own animals, to not be surprised if we're starting to notice them in a different way than we noticed them before. And I think you've heard me talk about this in other videos where it's like it's going to be harder to kill animals for food or for sport or anything like that. But they're not talking about that. That's Nancy's little insert here. That's not the energy that's coming through from Australia. The energy that's coming from that area and radiating out is the songs and the messages. It's like, wake up, wake up, wake up. And it's all of nature is being encouraged to wake up. And then I'm shown these bare feet on the ground. They're very flat-footed, bare feet. You can definitely see the toes. But this is what I'm seeing. Like every time a foot touches the ground, it's almost like I'm seeing these symbols or like a language that's coming off. But it's not like the written language like we know in English. It's like they step on the ground and there's like these sparks of knowledge that's being infused in the ground. So this knowledge, high-level knowledge, is coming through the Aboriginal that go back thousands of years. They're walking the land and they're infusing this consciousness into the land. So if I were to just look at all of Australia, again, I can see these light lines. They have sound. I can hear songs. But then on the earth, it's almost like, if somebody has a GPS monitor on and you can see all the places that they've walked on the map, it's like that. There's a lot of steps. And I can almost imagine if I was there and let's just say unknowingly I stepped in the same steps as the Aboriginal peoples. And then I was infused with that knowledge. Yeah. And we are impacted. If you were stepping on a land that was at war, you would feel the brutality of that war. But there's definitely this beauty. There was a mentioning of a lot of caves too, that there's an enormous cave system. But they didn't really get much into that, the Syrian Blue Star people. So Australia has a lot going on there, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful in all the ways that nature is feeling safe enough to awaken to its own consciousness. And isn't that kind of us too? maybe we're moving into a place of where we're safe. We feel safe enough no matter how much somebody makes fun of you or teases you or saying it's just a bunch of malarkey, that you still feel safe enough to awaken to your own consciousness, because it's time. All right, everyone. Love hearing from you in the comments section, and teach me. And go ahead and do your own intuitive exploration and do that right up in the comments section. I would love to read more and enjoy the opportunity for you to teach me something. All right, take care, everyone. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.